Counterfoils is the word of the convention, and for those of you who've used carnets, you'll see that at the top of the pages with the boxes, it calls them counterfoils. It comes from an old concept. I mean, like I said, the carnet was created or invented after the Second World War, and they literally, you would tear off the voucher from the counterfoil. Now they're rearranged a little differently. But the counterfoils are the individual boxes that are in the carnet, and the voucher pages are the ones that are removed. So counterfoils is just a fancy convention terminology for the pages in the carnet. As of now, we only have Mexico, Chile, and Brazil. There is a fear by the country to accept the carnet means that the government is going to initially lose a lot of income from duties and taxes. Most countries' economies live or survive most of their revenue for the government revenue is off of import taxes and duties, which is why in the U.S. our government is not funded primarily by import taxes and duties, which is why we have such a low duty rate and no import tax. Other countries, specifically South American countries, that is how they're predominantly funded. So with Latin America, we're working through them. Argentina, Peru actually is really up and interested in carnet. We've had a lot of interest from Colombia. If you have strong relationships in any of those countries, if the business community really rallies, because what the customs is being short-sighted of, or the government short-sighted of, is ATA carnet brings a lot of foreign investment opportunities. So when new boutiques are going to invest in opening stores in foreign countries, they'll use carnet for their initial year. And then once the boutique is up and running, they've offered jobs, they're contributing to the economy. So it's really educating those governments to understand that this is a really long-term viable investment strategy. And not to mention, it gives them direct access to the U.S. market as well as 100 other customs markets without having to post the duties and taxes. Order what you need at time of application with one additional backup set. And the reason I say that is because we are held by the U.S. Council in sort of to document compliance. So if any of those pages are missing, per the U.S. Council, we are unable to close your carnet or release your security deposit if not all the pages, the counterfoils example, are accounted for. So my recommendation is always, if you're going to Canada twice, then get 2 times to Canada and just get a third one, so you always have a backup set in case customs uses the wrong counterfoil, which happens more often than not. But don't, like, I've had clients who will submit applications and they'll have 20 countries selected, and I'll call them up and say, okay, what is your itinerary? What are you doing right now? Because to get additional sets from, I can speak for Roanoke, additional sets with no rush fees or anything, we have them delivered to you tomorrow because the work is nominal in additional sets. And if you're anywhere near any of those 9 pickup locations, we do them in a couple hours. You can just pick them up. So the time to get them is not that long. Number one reason is the green cover is not validated by a home country customs, so we're talking about U.S. carnets here. If U.S. Customs does not validate the green cover, which means you do not stop at customs prior to exporting from the United States, that is the number one reason. Number 2 reason would be undervaluing on the carnet. So customs does not care about depreciation. And in today's world, they have access to Google. And we've had to dispute a lot of cases where customs has actually Googled the value and have said, I'm sorry, but this garment on Saks Fifth Avenue's website costs $3,000, but you're telling me it's a sample and it costs $100. So we try and make cases in those senses, but overvaluing is always safer than undervaluing. We always recommend going with insurance value, with the insured value, because you have a paper trail you've submitted to your insurance company that we can use the support of why you value the goods at that value. But value, green cover validation, undervaluing, and really vague descriptions. If you don't have a strong description, and basically the reason for that is they don't want you to go into their country and substitute for a lesser valued item and come out. So if the description is very clearly written, they know you can't substitute, they are good to go. So there's 10 data elements that has to be filed for U.S. carnets reentering through the ISF, which is the security filing. Sorry, I'm forgetting what the I is for that. But anyways, the ISF for 10+2 security, importer security filing, that's what it's called, importer security filing. So you have to fulfill the 10 data elements. And there's an equivalency. We have the whole breakdown on our website. I'm more than happy to, you can go to our website, you can email me, I'll give you how you, because it's only 5 unique data elements for a carnet that actually make up the 10 data filing. But what you are exempt from is the ISF bond requirement, because in the U.S. Customs regulations, the ATA carnet is actually considered not only a customs document, but also considered a bond under the CFR. So you don't have to post an ISF bond if you have an ATA carnet, but you still need to file the ISF, and the code for entry is 06. It flags it as the carnet entry.